Okay, hello everyone. I'm going to record a short video on polynomial division, which is the next section of Chapter 1, P2, which we are currently working on. So I'd first like to define a polynomial. It's something that you are already familiar with, something like a quadratic or a cubic or x to the fourth expression. So essentially it's what we call a finite expression, which means it does not go on infinitely. And it consists of positive powers of the variable. So it consists of positive powers of the variable. So for example, something like 5x to the 3 plus x minus 6. That is a polynomial expression. Or 6x to the 5 minus x to the 4 plus 3x cubed plus x squared. That could be a different example of a polynomial. Okay, so we want to learn how we can divide a polynomial by a linear factor. Okay, so we want to be able to divide this by either x plus or minus some constant, okay, or we want to divide this by ax plus or minus some other constant. So this is a constant, as is a and b. So for example, we want to be able to divide this polynomial. Let's say I want to divide 5x cubed plus x minus 6 by x plus 3. Or by x minus 1. Or if it's in this form, I might want to divide by 2x minus 7. That's a different example. Okay, and that's what we are going to look at today. And so this is called polynomial division, sometimes known as algebraic long division. Right, so let's start with a simple example where you have a top-heavy fraction. And if I had to write that as a mixed number, that would become 1 plus 3/5. So essentially what's going to happen when we divide a polynomial by a linear factor is we are going to get some solution here like 1, some constant value, or in our case an expression, and we will get our remainder of 3. So let's look at an example to go over this. So I'm just going to write out example 1. So I want to divide x cubed plus 4x squared minus 5x plus 2 by the linear factor x plus 2. Okay, and I'm going to use something which you will have seen perhaps a long time ago, and where we use this bus stop type method, or when I was little they called it the bus stop method anyway. And what we are dividing into, we're dividing x plus 2 into that cubic. We write that under the bus stop. Okay, and what we are dividing by, this x plus 2, we're going to write on the left-hand side here. Okay, right. So the first step is we always start working with x. It could have been 2x there, then I would have used the 2x. You get the idea. So I'm going to say, what can I multiply x by in order to get x cubed? So I know that x times x squared will give me x cubed. Okay, and then once I have that, I'm ready for the next step. So now I'm going to say, okay, let's do this multiplication. X times x squared gives me x cubed. And I do the same for positive 2. Positive 2 times x squared is positive 2x squared. I draw a line, and this is the key bit. I'm always going to subtract. Okay, I'm going to subtract x cubed plus 2x squared. I'm going to subtract it from this cubic expression at the top. So x cubed minus x cubed cancels. I get 0, and that's exactly what I want to happen. The first term must always cancel. Then I say 4x squared, positive 4x squared, subtract positive 2x squared gives me 2x squared. Here I've got minus 5x. Well, I'm subtracting nothing, so it just stays as minus 5x subtract 0 is minus 5x, and 2 subtract 0, well, I'm just still left with positive 2. Okay, just going to rub these extra bits out. So then I start again. I start again with this x on the left-hand side, but I'm focusing on this section here. You can almost see that I'm done with all of this bit under the bus stop. So I'm going to say, okay, what must I multiply x by in order to get 2x squared here? And the answer to that, of course, is 2x. Once I've done that, I'm ready to go and multiply. So I'm going to multiply x by 2x, and I'll get 2x squared. And then I'll multiply positive 2 by 2x, and I'll get plus 4x. I draw my line, and I'm going to subtract, and then I just repeat the process from before. 2x squared, subtract 2x squared. I'm always looking for this to give me 0. Then I've got negative 5x, subtract 4x, which is negative 9x, and 2 take away 0. I'm still left with 2. And now again, we're kind of done with this bit, and this becomes our focus. And then I repeat the process from before. I say, what must I multiply x by to get negative 9x? And the answer to that is obviously negative 9. So I then go and do this. I say x multiplied by negative 9 gives me minus 9x, and 2 multiplied by negative 9 gives me negative 18. And then I must remember I'm subtracting. So negative 9 subtract negative 9. Well, negative 9 subtract negative 9. That becomes negative 9 plus 9, which nicely cancels out to give us the 0 we want. And then I say 2 take away negative 18, and that will give me positive 20. And since I'm finished, I know I'm finished here because there is nothing left that I can there's nothing I can do more. I can't multiply x by something here to get 20. Once you have your final answer, then you'll get at the end here where you'll be able to see that. Okay, so I can say that my answer to x cubed plus 4x squared minus 5x plus 2 divided by x plus 2 is going to be x squared plus 2x minus 9. And I have this remainder is 20. So strictly speaking, I've got 20 divided by what I started with, x plus 2 left. In the same way that I had 1 plus 3 fifths, because I was dividing by 5. Okay, but if the question asks you what is the remainder is 20. Okay, I hope that is useful. Let's have a look at a second example. So the process is the same, but sometimes the order of your question will miss out some powers of x. You'll see what I mean when I finish writing this out. So we've got x cubed, then we've got x to the power of 1, which means I'm missing, and I need to write this in, I'm missing my x squared. So I've got to add that in as 0x squared when I start my working out. Right? So I've got then x squared, which is what I want. I've got x cubed, x squared, x to the 1, and my constant. So I'm going to write this as 2x cubed plus 0x squared plus 6x minus 5 divided by x plus 1. And then I start the process. I say, what can I multiply x by to get 2x cubed. The answer to that is 2x squared. And then I go and multiply. So I'm going to say x times 2x squared gives me 2x cubed, and 1 times 2x squared, well, that's going to give me positive 2x squared. Draw a line and I subtract. I get 0. 2x cubed minus 2x cubed is 0. That's what I wanted. And then I get 0x squared subtract positive 2, so that gives me negative 2x squared. 6x take away 0, well, that's 6x, and that minus 5, well, that's always just really going to carry that down. So I then begin the process again. I say, what must I multiply x by to get, in our case here now, minus 2x squared, and that's going to be minus 2x. I then go and do that. I'll get minus 2x squared. I also go and multiply by positive 1, so I'll get negative 2x. I draw a line and I must remember to subtract. So that very nicely gives me 0. Then I've got 6x subtract negative 2. Well, 6 take away negative 2 will give me 8x. And I've got negative 5 take away 0, and that's just going to be negative 5. I can then start, and not can, sorry, I should then start the process again. I am done with this section. You don't need to cross it out in your when you do this in the exam. But it's just to get an idea of what you've finished with. So now I'm going to focus on this bit. And I say x multiplied by what gives me 8x. And that's got to be plus 8. So then I go and do that. X times by 8 is 8x. Plus 1 times by 8 is positive 8. And I subtract. And I will get negative 5 take away 8 gives me negative 13. And this is my remainder. So the answer to this question is 2x squared minus 2x plus 8. And a remainder of negative 13. So I've got plus negative 13 over x plus 1. And strictly speaking, if I have this minus there, well, if I add a negative, it's just going to become a negative. So that's going to be negative 13 over x plus 1. Okay, I'm quickly going to do one more example to illustrate this. Maybe you can pause the video and have a go at this question yourself. It's a 4x to the 4 minus 17x squared plus 4 divided by 2x plus 1. Okay, so let's go and write that out. Note that I'm missing here x cubed, so I need 0x cubed, and I also need 0x. So I've got 4x to the 4 plus 0x cubed minus 17x squared plus 0x plus 4, and I'm dividing by 2x plus 1. So pause the video, have a go at this yourself, and then check my answer, compare your answer to mine after. Okay, so I'm going to say, what must I multiply this way to get 4x to the 4? And that's got to be 2x cubed. And then I go and multiply 2x by 2x cubed, gives me 4x to the 4 plus 2x cubed there. Subtract. That's going to cancel. 0 take away 2 is negative 2x cubed. And these three will just stay the same. Right, repeat the process. What must I multiply 2x by to get negative 2x cubed? So that's got to be negative 2x squared. So I then go and multiply. That gives me negative, sorry, not negative 2x cubed. It should be negative x cubed. That gives me then, when I multiply, negative 2x cubed. And when I multiply 1 by that, I get negative x cubed. Remember to subtract. So that gives me 0. Negative 17, take away negative 1, will leave me with negative 16. So I get negative 16x squared plus 0x plus 4. Repeat the process. What must I multiply 2x by in order to get minus 16x squared? So the answer to that is negative 8x. I go and do that. I get my minus 16x squared, and I get minus 8x. I subtract. That gives me 0. Then I've got 0 subtract negative 8, which will be positive. 0 take away negative 8 is 8. 4 take away 0 is just plus 4. And repeat the process. What must I times 2x by to get 8x? That gives me plus 4. I then go and multiply. 2x times 4 is 8x. Plus 1 times 4 is plus 4. I subtract and I will get 0. No remainder. Okay, no remainder. This becomes very important. There is one particular key fact when I have no remainder. So this method will help us in the next section that we look at. Okay, I hope that was useful. Go and work on exercise 1B, and I would suggest that you work through questions 7 to 19 to practice this.